Holy shit, we're at FASTLANE. We did it. Like,
We did
subscribe
it.
for us, please, for pushing ourselves all the way to FASTLANE. The amount of writing we've done has been
Please,
absolutely
somebody watch
ridiculous.
these PLEs.
Honestly, fuck, man. Jesus Christ. Anyways, we have a long show. We probably will go over 40 minutes, I'm assuming. Uh, let's jump into it. Like, subscribe, all that shit. And we start off with the Women's Iron Survivor match. Alicia Taylor goes over the rules of the match, which are as follows. There's a 25-minute time limit with 5 superstars competing to become the number one contender at WrestleMania. Two superstars start the match. Every 5 minutes thereafter, a new superstar will enter until all competitors are in the ring. Falls can be won at any time via pinfall or submission. When a superstar scores a fall, they will earn 1 point. When a superstar loses a fall, that superstar is forced out of the ring into a penalty box for 90 seconds before they can re-enter the match. The superstar who has scored the most falls when the clock hits 25 minutes will be named the Iron Survivor and become the number one contender for the Women's World Championship. And then we get our first entrant. It's Chelsea Green! She comes in with Piper by her side. She's ready to take the world on. She feels like she should be the favorite to win this match. And then we get number 2. And it's Io Sky. She comes out to a massive ovation. The crowd loves her. And then both women get into their corners, and the bell rings, and the timer starts counting up. We have 5 minutes until the next entrant comes out. Chelsea starts the match by getting in Io's face. She's saying that she's the first ever women's US champion and she's the greatest one of all time. And Piper has her back. That's when Io slaps her. Chelsea goes flying a couple steps back and is now facing the opposite direction of Io. Chelsea is taken aback by this. She turns back around to face Io, but is met with a massive springboard dropkick. The crowd gets hyped as Chelsea starts retreating to the corner. Io doesn't let up. She runs and hits Chelsea with a running Meteora in the corner. Chelsea is dazed and falls to the mat in perfect position for Io to hit an over the moonsault. Io goes for it. Piper pulls Chelsea out of the ring, and Io lands on her feet. We cut to Piper trying to wake up Chelsea, telling her that it's just a bad start and she needs to lock in. But then Io comes in and hits them both with a baseball slide. They both get kicked into the barricade. They both start getting back to their feet when Io rushes in again and hits them with a suicide dive, taking them both out and down and out. Io hits her signature taunt and then throws Chelsea into the ring again. There's 3 minutes until the next entrant comes out. Io climbs to the top one more time. She goes for the over the moonsault again. This time, Chelsea gets out of the way on her own. Io lands face first. Chelsea goes to quickly roll her up for a cover. 1, 2, kick out. Io gets up quick and she rolls up Chelsea. 1, 2, kick out. Chelsea is up and goes for a clothesline. Io ducks under it to hit the ropes. Once she's about to bounce off, Piper grabs her foot, causing her to trip. Io goes to get up, and Chelsea hits her with a massive drop kick that sends her out of the ring. Chelsea follows after her. She grabs Io and sends her flying into the steel steps. There's 1 minute and 30 seconds until the next entrant comes in. Chelsea throws Io back into the ring. She starts lining her up. She goes for an unpretty her. Io gets out of the way and rolls her up. 1, 2, kick out. When Chelsea kicks out, Io jumps up and hits her with a double stomp. This takes the air out of her. Io goes for the over the moonsault one more time with 30 seconds left. Chelsea gets up, knocks Io off balance on the top rope. She climbs up there with her and hits a suplex from the top. Both women are down and the clock counts down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Julia comes out. Chelsea sees her and tells Piper to stop her. Piper rushes her but is met with with insane strikes that take her out fast. Chelsea is still down at this point and tries to get to her feet as Julia is getting to the ring. Chelsea gets to her knees and is hit with an fuck, I can't do it again. Arrivederci knee by Julia. Julia covers Chelsea 1, 2, 3. Julia picks up the first fall. Chelsea is escorted to the penalty box by a ref, and Piper goes with her, saying she's sorry she couldn't stop Julia. Chelsea just gives her the silent treatment. Back in the ring, Julia is standing there by herself when Io finally starts getting up, and we have a stare down. The crowd goes wild for this. They thought they would get a preview of this at the Elimination Chamber in Survivor Series, but we didn't. Io is all smiles, and Julia is 100% serious. And then Julia tells Io to bring the best she can. Io slaps her. Julia hardly moves. Julia yells at her to do it again. Io does. Julia is not impressed. She yells for it one more time. Io smacks her so hard that it can be heard in the nosebleeds. Julia takes a moment. She's looking down. She looks back up, and we see blood dripping from her nose. She wipes it off her hand. She looks at it. She licks it and smiles. Then she goes on the attack. She starts hitting Io with a bunch of forearm strikes as Io is throwing punches. Chelsea has 30 seconds left in the penalty box. These two keep trading blows. Finally, Julia gets the upper hand. She gets Io up for a Northern Lights bomb. Io gets out of the way. Julia turns to Io and gets hit with a spinning back fist. Julia then returns the favor with one of her own. Io falls back against the ropes and bounces back. She hits Julia with a running drop kick right into her knee. Julia is down near the ring entrance. Chelsea's time in the penalty box is up. She starts running to the ring. Io is going for yet another over the moonsault. Julia sees it coming and pulls herself out of the ring. Chelsea sees her rolling out as she's rolling in. Chelsea slides in on her belly. She turns to lay on her back and is hit with Io's finisher. Io covers. 1, 2, 3. Io picks up a point by pinning Chelsea Green. Piper takes the walk of shame back to the penalty box to try to discuss strategy with Chelsea. Piper gets back to the ring. Io rushes her and hits her with a tilt-a-whirl that leads into a small package. Cover. 1, 2, kick out. They both get back up. This time Io does a body scissors takedown for the cover. 1, 2, kick out. Julia's getting worn out. She takes it to Io, hits her with a powerful clothesline, and goes for a jackknife cover. 1, 2. Io is able to bridge out and turn it into a backside pin. 1, 2, kick out. Io has enough and goes to hit Julia with a drop kick. Julia catches Io's legs and puts her into a sharpshooter. Io is in the middle of the ring. Chelsea is then seen talking to Piper about what she needs to do. There's 30 seconds until Chelsea comes back and 1 minute until the next competitor is out. We cut back to see Io screaming in pain. She looks like she's about to tap when we see her yell. She uses all her strength in her legs to send Julia flying to the other side of the ring. Io uses the ropes in the corner to get herself up. Julia rushes her. Io is able to get out of the way by going to the outside. Julia hits the turnbuckle and falls down. Io starts climbing to the top. Chelsea's time is up. She starts heading to the ring. Io goes for an over the moonsault, hits it. She goes for the cover. 1, 2. Chelsea pulls her off and hits an unpretty her on her. Chelsea covers Io. 1, 2, kick out. Chelsea lets out a scream of frustration before she goes to pin a downed Julia. 1, 2, kick out. She slaps the mat and looks like she's going to cry. The countdown begins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out comes Asuka. Chelsea is the only one up. The rest of the women rolled out the ring. Chelsea is looking around for a way to get out of this. Then she starts yelling at Piper to do something. Piper starts getting on the apron when Asuka gives her a nasty look. This is enough for Piper to say, fuck all that, you're on your own for this one. Chelsea looks at Piper disappointed and says, screw it. She rushes towards Asuka. That was not a wise move. Asuka easily sidesteps her attack and then puts Chelsea into an Asuka lock. Chelsea is fighting the hardest she can, but she can't escape it, and she taps out. Chelsea is sent back to the penalty box, and she's throwing a fit about it the whole way there. Asuka is now waiting in the ring alone. That's when Io and Julia get to their feet. They climb to the apron. They both enter the ring from opposite sides, and all three of them have themselves a good old fashioned Mexican standoff, but in Japanese. They all attack. All three are throwing punches at both the other opponents. Finally, Asuka breaks the cycle. She hits Io so hard she goes flying back. Then she does the same to Julia. She runs the ropes to charge Io. Io gets out of the way and hits the ropes herself. She hits a springboard moonsault onto Asuka. As soon as she gets back to her feet, Julia is there to get her up for a suplex. She hits it. She goes for the cover. 1, 2. Asuka pulls her off and locks in the Asuka lock onto her. Julia's in the middle of the ring and can't escape. She looks like she's about to tap, but Io comes in and breaks the hold. Julia rolls out. Io is now trying to get Asuka into the Asuka lock herself. Io is fighting her hardest. Or Asuka is fighting her hardest. She even is able to get to her feet. She's got Io on her back. She charges backward into the corner to get Io off of her. She doesn't budge. She does it again. Io is still holding on. Asuka does it one more time. Io finally lets go. Asuka falls to her knees trying to catch her breath. Io is down. And in runs Chelsea. Her time is up. She runs to a weakened Asuka and tries to hit her with an unpretty her. Asuka gets out of it. Chelsea turns around. She gets kicked in the gut by Asuka. Asuka now goes for an unpretty her of her own, and she hits it. Cover 1, 2. Uh, Asuka rushes off of the cover, and Io comes crashing down onto Chelsea with an over the moonsault. Cover 1, 2. Asuka breaks it up. The clock shows there's 2 minutes left until the final entrant, Rhea Ripley, comes out. All women are down. Chelsea just rolls out the ring. Asuka gets to her feet, and so does Io. After taking a break, Julia is back. On the outside, Chelsea is yelling at Piper to do something. Piper doesn't know what to do, so she just gets on the apron again. All three look at her, and they just shrug her off. They don't see her as a threat. Then all three attack each other. Julia rushes in to roll up Asuka. 1, 2. Io rolls up Julia. 1, 2. Asuka rolls up Io. 1, 2. Io reverses into a roll up of her own. 1, 2. Julia rolls up Io now. 1, 2. Asuka rolls up Julia. 1, 2. In comes Chelsea to roll up Asuka. 1, 2. Now Julia rolls up Chelsea and Io rolls up Asuka simultaneously. 1, 2. Both women kick out. They go to separate corners of the ring as the final countdown begins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is my brutality. Rhea was the only one left. They all knew it was coming to this, although they probably wanted anyone else to come out last. They all stare at her as she makes her way to the ring. There's only 10 minutes left in the match. Chelsea is the only one other than Rhea with no falls. Rhea is in the middle of the ring, and everyone is looking at her. She looks around at all of them and yells at them to bring it. Asuka charges her and gets hit with a clothesline so hard it nearly takes her head off. Chelsea runs in and is hit with a pop-up power bomb. Io goes flying to take her out, but Rhea catches her midair and quickly sets her up for a quick riptide and hits it. Io rolls out the ring along with everyone else. Rhea gets up slowly and turns around. Julia is just staring at her, waiting for her to be done. And then they go at it. There is no love lost between these women. Rhea, with her power, is tossing Julia all across the ring. Julia is already 10 minutes deep into the match, so she's having trouble keeping up, but still, she has a lot of fight left in her. Rhea gets to her in riptide position. She gets out of it by hitting a DDT. Rhea is getting up. Julia runs in and hits an Arrivederci knee. Cover. 1, 2. Kick out. And just like that, Julia has evened the playing field. Julia doesn't get off the attack. She keeps it up. Then she gets Rhea up for a Northern Lights bomb when Io comes in out of nowhere and hits a springboard dropkick onto them. Io climbs to the top, ready for her moonsault. Rhea gets out of the way. Io hits Julia. Io gets up to attack Rhea. She rushes in and hits a series of uppercuts. She goes for a one final one. Rhea comes alive and gets out of the way, and from behind runs in Chelsea. She quickly turns Io around and hits an unpretty her on her. So she's so excited that she doesn't go for the pin right away. She's about to go for it when Rhea comes up from behind Chelsea, picks her up and hits a riptide on her. Cover, 1, 2, 3. Rhea pins Chelsea to earn herself a fall. Chelsea is sent to the penalty box for the 4th time. Piper can't believe it as Rhea smiles and watches Chelsea walk to the penalty box. Asuka comes in from behind and locks in the Asuka lock. Rhea is trying her hardest to escape, but she can't find a way out, and it looks like she's going to tap. When goes for yet another moonsault and hits both women with it. Uh, they both go down. She then stacks them up. Cover. 1, 2. Julia pulls Io out of the ring, and they start fighting on the outside. Julia throws Io into the steel steps, then heads back into the ring. She tries to pick up the scraps. She looks at Asuka and goes to kick her out of the ring. She's able to get her out and focus entirely on Rhea. Rhea's getting up. She goes for an Arrivederci knee. As Rhea gets to her feet, Rhea gets out of the way. Julia hits the turnbuckle knee first. She messed her leg up badly. It looks like she can't put any pressure on it anymore. She turns around. Rhea hits her with a massive headbutt, then gets her ready for a riptide, and she hits it. Cover, 1, 2, kick out. Julia is moving her leg, trying to feel if she tore anything. Rhea sees this and goes on the attack once more. Just like she did a while back, she gets Julia in the prism trap. Julia is in the middle of the ring with nowhere to go. She looks like she's about to tap. Rhea locks it in tighter. Julia has no choice, but then she is saved. Asuka comes in and locks in the Asuka lock onto Rhea. Rhea lets go of Julia, and she rolls out of the ring. Asuka is trying to escape. Chelsea's time is about to run out. Rhea does the only thing she can. She starts putting her fingers in Asuka's eyes. Chelsea's time is up. She runs to the ring. Asuka lets go. Rhea's taking her time to come to. She turns around to face Asuka. Asuka turns to face Rhea. Chelsea gets into the ring and rushes them from behind. From behind Rhea, Asuka spits poison mist into Rhea. Rhea ducks. The mist hits Chelsea right in the face. Chelsea starts screaming in pain. Asuka is shocked, and Rhea takes advantage and hits Asuka with a riptide. She turns her attention to Chelsea, who is still screaming and not knowing what's happening. She's about to attack her when Io enters the ring by pushing Chelsea right into Rhea headfirst. Chelsea is knocked down. Io starts fighting Rhea on the other side of the ring. Piper then drags Chelsea to pin Asuka. Cover, 1, 2, 3. Chelsea has picked up her first fall. There are 3 minutes left, and we have a 5-way tie at 1 fall. Io notices too late to break the cover. Then she goes to tell Piper to get out of the match. Piper is about to leave the ring when Rhea rushes in from behind and gets Io to hit her with a riptide. She goes for the cover, but Piper is there. She breaks it up. Rhea gets in her face. She hits her with a headbutt. And then we see another riptide. The crowd goes wild. Chelsea rolls up Rhea. 1, 2, kick out. Rhea gets up and hits Chelsea with another headbutt. She's about to go for a riptide when Julia comes back in to lock in a sleeper hold on Rhea. Rhea is forced to let go of Chelsea. Rhea is fighting with everything she has, and Asuka is back. 1 minute and 30 seconds remain in the match. Asuka rushes in and starts kicking Rhea in the legs. Io gets up and starts doing the same. They realize if any of them are going to win, they have to take her out. Rhea falls to her knees. Julia still has the hold applied. Rhea looks like she's out of it. Asuka then kicks Julia in the head. Julia lets go of the hold and they all start fighting among themselves. 40 seconds left. Chelsea comes in and hits Io with an unpretty her. Io rolls out of the ring. Asuka goes to hit Chelsea with a kick, but Chelsea ducks and hits her with an unpretty her. Asuka rolls out the ring. 30 seconds left. Julia's getting up. Chelsea hits her with an unpretty her. 20 seconds left. She goes for the cover. One. Rhea pulls her off and hits her riptide on Chelsea. One, two, three. Rhea picks up a fall. 10 seconds left. Rhea gets to her feet. Julia rolls her up. 5 seconds left. One, two, three. 1 second left. Time expires. Rhea is freaking out. Julia is shocked it worked. We have a tie. Everyone looks around confused on what to do. I come out to say, okay, this didn't go out as planned, guys. Good thing we have a sudden death rule in place for this type of situation. Put 3 more minutes on the clock with only Julia and Rhea allowed in the ring. That's when Roxanne comes out and she says, no, that's not going to happen. We all know what the more interesting option is here. I want them both at WrestleMania. The crowd cheers. I look at her like she's crazy and say, are you sure? Do you see the two women standing in the ring right now? Yeah, I do. When have I ever backed down from a fight? If I can't beat the best this company has to offer, then I don't deserve to be champion. Okay, fine, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. You still have to defend against Bailey tonight. For now, fine. We'll figure something out if you don't retain against her. So there it is, folks. At WrestleMania, we could have Julia versus Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez for the Women's World Championship. And that is the match.
Jeez. Okay. 30 minutes later.
22.
Yeah, it felt longer.
All right.
Alrighty, following up the first ever women's Iron Survivor, we move on to AJ Styles defending his World Heavyweight title against Ethan Page. Ethan starts this match off hot. He immediately rushes AJ and beats him down in the corner, causing the referee to pull him back. AJ seems shocked by this level of aggression from Ethan. AJ gets back to his feet, and Ethan is still showing no remorse. AJ eventually ties himself up in the ropes to break the hold. Ethan is once again pulled back. But once freed, he charges AJ. AJ this time sidesteps Ethan and sends him through the ropes. AJ laughs at Ethan, but Ethan just reaches under the ropes and pulls AJ outside with him. Ethan throws AJ into the announce table, then smashes his head against it several times before letting go and letting out this kind of freeing scream. Like he's finally getting to release all of his frustration he's probably had for the better part of a couple of months. Ethan grabs a dazed AJ and sends him back into the ring. Ethan goes to get back in through the ropes, but halfway through, AJ just kicks up the middle rope. This drops Ethan down to the mat, and AJ starts to slow down the pace. He starts kicking away at Ethan, saying that he was a useless partner and that his uselessness caused the end of the Phenomenal Egos. This seems to light a fire in Ethan, and he starts to fight back, eventually throwing AJ over the top rope. Um, AJ manages to catch himself though, and as Ethan turns around, AJ is flying through the air for a phenomenal forearm. Ethan is able to react just in time and kicks AJ in the gut as he lands on the mat and hits him with a twisted smile. Ethan goes for the cover. One, two, kick out. Ethan at this point can taste victory. He moves back over to AJ and starts unleashing a barrage of punches to the face, and then he gets up. He grabs AJ and pulls him towards the turnbuckle. He then props AJ facing away from him on top of the turnbuckle. Ethan takes a moment and then he pulls AJ off in position for the Ego's edge, but AJ is able to slide off and hit Ethan with a pay. This drops Ethan to the mat and AJ heads uh, to the ring apron and springboards in for a 450 splash. He covers Ethan but only gets a count of two. AJ slaps himself in the face, realizing he needs to put in a bit more effort if he wants to win this. He goes back out to the apron and waits for Ethan to get up. Once he does, AJ once again goes for the phenomenal forearm, but gets caught yet again. Ethan goes for the twisted smile, but AJ slips out of it and rolls into the. Ethan struggles in this move and slowly makes his way towards the ropes. Just as he gets closer, it seems like he's finally going to tap, but manages to fight through the pain, and one last gasp gets him to the ropes, breaking the hold. Ethan rolls out of the ring, but is soon followed by AJ flying through the sky, connecting with a phenomenal forearm. AJ takes a minute to taunt the crowd before grabbing Ethan and throwing him back in. AJ taunts the crowd some more, and just as he is now stepping through the ropes, Ethan kicks the middle ropes into AJ's groin, and AJ drops to the mat. This leaves AJ hunched over, and Ethan picks him up and goes for an Ego's edge. AJ once again manages to reverse this, but this time he reverses it into a Hurricane Rana and quickly rolls back under the ropes. And just as Ethan is getting to his feet, AJ comes flying in with another phenomenal forearm, connecting this time in the ring, and covers Ethan. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles retains his World Heavyweight Championship.
All right. All right. Then we get the Women's World Championship match. This is it. Bailey agreed that this is the last time that not just they face off, but any member of Futuro Dorado uh, for as long as Roxanne is champion, if she wins. The bell rings and Bailey rushes in. She can't take any chances. She just wants to make sure she has the upper hand from the get go. This won't be the first time these women face off. It didn't go so well for her the last couple of times. Bailey gets Rox down on the mat. We get some chain wrestling to start off. She has Rox in a headlock. Rox is searching for a way to escape. She ends up getting to her feet and walking toward the ropes. Rox throws Bailey to the other side of the ring. Bailey bounces off the ropes and comes back and just absolutely shoulder checks Rox. She gets down on the mat. Bailey runs the ropes on the opposite. Bailey runs the ropes on the opposite side than she just did and bounces off to hit an elbow drop. Bailey is absolutely bringing it to Rox. Perhaps she's looking to prove herself as the leader of the group, as she's already had her authority questioned. Bailey keeps the pressure up until Rox is able to reverse an attempt at an elbow drop from the top rope. She gets out of the way. Bailey lands hard on the mat. She starts getting up again when Rox rushes her and throws her face first into the turnbuckle. This dazes Bailey more. Jesus. She has to roll out the ring to recover. She starts catching her breath on the outside when Rox comes in and hits her with a suicide dive. Rox starts celebrating on the outside. She gets Bailey up to throw her back in the ring, but Bailey counters and instead throws Rox into the steel steps, shoulder first. She then gets her up and hits Bailey to belly on the outside. She throws her into the ring and goes for the cover. 1, 2, kick out. Bailey can't believe it. If she had gotten her into the ring faster, she could have been champion right now. She decides it's time to finish the job. She picks up Rox, goes for another Bailey to belly. Rox jumps out of her grip and lands behind Bailey. Bailey turns around and is met with a spinning heel kick to the gut. Rox sees a perfect opportunity and hits a pop Rox. Cover 1, 2, kick out. Rox doesn't waste any time. She immediately transitions Bailey into a crossface. Bailey is in the middle of the ring with nowhere to go. It looks like she's about to tap when Bailey just grabs onto Rox's hair and starts pulling it. Rox is forced to let go. The ref is yelling at Bailey that she can't do that, but Bailey is freed and she doesn't care. She goes to Rox and goes to hit a rose plant. Rox hand stands out of it. Bailey starts getting up and is hit with another pop rocks. Cover 1, 2. Bailey is too close to the ropes, so her foot is touching them. The ref breaks the count. Rox is shaking her head. This can't be happening. She's so close to making it to WrestleMania as champion. It can't end here. She brings in Bailey to the center of the ring. Bailey then wakes up and hits Rox with a suplex. Then she looks around and pulls Rox to the corner. She lifts her to the top rope. She climbs up with her. She looks like she's going for a Bailey to belly off the top rope. She locks it in. Uh, Rox starts fighting with everything she's got. She's not about to let her title reign end here. Bailey no longer has Rox in a tight grip. Rox breathes a sigh of relief. She goes for one final punch to throw Bailey off the top rope. Bailey ducks, quickly wraps her arms around Rox, and hits a Bailey to belly off the top rope. She hits it with so much momentum that Rox goes flying out of the ring. Bailey frantically goes to the outside to try to throw Roxy back into the ring. She's struggling. Rox is completely dead weight. It takes a while, but she's finally able to throw Rox back in. Bailey slides into the ring. She's getting up as Rox runs in and hits her with a pop Rox. She makes sure Bailey's foot isn't on the ropes this time as she covers. 1, 2, 3. Here is your winner and still the Women's World Champion, Roxanne Perez.
Alrighty. We then move on to the women's tag title match between Liv and Raquel and Stephanie and Lola Vice. This match starts at a more calm pace than usual women's tag matches. Neither team wants to show their hand too early, but after a decent back and forth between Liv and Lola to start, we see Liv take control. Liv and Raquel keep Lola away from Stephanie and control the match for the better portion. We then see Lola manage to drop Raquel when she is tagged in, and both women get off a hot tag to their respective partners. Stephanie comes in with all the energy in the world and levels Liv, and knocks Raquel off the apron. Stephanie then takes full control of the match, and after a few minutes of control, we see Stephanie get into the Devil's Kiss on Liv. Just as she starts, Raquel comes in and leg drops the back of Stephanie's head. Lola then comes in and starts beating down on Raquel, but then gets attacked from behind by Liv. Liv and Raquel then throw Lola from the ring. Stephanie tries to rush in, but up and stops Stephanie in her tracks. Raquel then gets back onto the apron to get tagged in. She then picks up Stephanie and tags back in Liv, and Liv climbs up top. Stephanie is held up in the Tejana bomb position as Liv jumps off the top rope and clotheslines Stephanie down as Raquel powerbombs Stephanie down. Liv covers Stephanie whilst Raquel holds off Lola, and Liv gets the 3 count to retain their titles. Liv and Raquel retain. Following that match, we move on to the United States Championship match between Ricky Saints, Omos, and Jacob Fatu. The match starts with both Jacob and Ricky seemingly understanding that they need to work together against Omos. This partnership lasts until they get the giant out of the ring. Once Omos is down, Ricky is quick on the attack. Ricky shows absolutely no fear and takes it to Jacob until he hits the ropes and Jacob absolutely levels Ricky with a super kick. Jacob then slows down the pace a bit and just beats Ricky down for a couple of minutes until Ricky rolls out of the ring and Omos re-enters the ring. Omos and Jacob size one another up before Omos and Jacob size one another up, and Jacob throws everything he's got at Omos, but nothing seems to phase him. Omos then gets a hold of Jacob and starts throwing him around the ring. Omos seems in complete control until Ricky comes in from behind with a chair shot to the back of Omos. Omos still seems unfazed, and Ricky goes to swing again, but Omos just knocks the chair out of his hands. Omos then goozles Ricky, but gets attacked from behind by Jacob. Once again, both Jacob and Ricky work together against Omos and manage to daze the big man. Ricky and Jacob share a look before both hitting the ropes and Ricky going for a spear as Jacob goes for a diving back elbow. Both men connect and drive the big man down. Ricky goes for the cover, but Jacob pulls him off. Jacob goes for the cover, but Ricky pulls him off. They then brawl for a bit, with Jacob the exchange and super kicking Ricky out of the ring. Jacob then quickly realizes the opportunity of Omos laying on the ground and jumps up top and hits a moonsault. He covers Omos, but Omos kicks out. Jacob rushes back to his feet and hits another moonsault and pins him again. Kick out. Jacob gets up yet again and connects with his third moonsault. Decides that's not enough. Hits a fourth, fifth, and sixth moonsault onto Omos. After the sixth, he's about to go for the cover, but Ricky Saints grabs him and throws him out of the ring. Ricky then covers Omos. 1, 2, 3. Jacob Fatu has this look of fury on his face as Ricky rolls out of the ring and rushes up the ramp where the referee hands him the title. Ricky Saints is your new United States champion.
Yeah, SmackDown to the dumps right now. Jesus Christ.
Man has absolutely no love for Ricky Saints.
Ratings in the trash.
Ratings through the roof.
Through the roof of hell, probably. Jesus.
Hey,
All
that's
right.
up for that's as long as we're going up.
All right. Roman and Punk start the match. They just stare at each other, and then they get to work, and we get a fast-paced action. Right away, Punk goes for Roman with a clothesline. Roman ducks. Punk turns around. Roman goes for a Superman punch. Roman picks him out of the air and goes for a GTS. Roman breaks free and lifts Punk up for a crucifix power bomb. Punk weasels his way out of it, and Roman turns around, and Punk goes for a swinging neck breaker. Roman pushes him off. Punk turns around and gets hit with a Superman punch. Punk starts. Punk gets up fast. Roman rushes in for a spear. Punk jumps over it. Roman rams his shoulder into the steel post. Punk pulls him out of there and picks him up to hit him with a GTS. Punk goes for the cover. 1, 2, kick out. As soon as he kicks out, Punk puts him right into the Anaconda Vice. Roman is panicking in the middle of the ring. As my fucking computer turned off. In the middle of the ring, he starts getting to his feet. Roman gets to the ropes and pushes Punk off of him. Punk bounces off the ropes. He comes back and is hit with a spear. Roman covers. 1, 2, kick out. As soon as he kicks out, Roman puts him in the guillotine. Punk is now the one struggling. He starts crawling to the outside the best he can. He gets to the bottom rope. Roman holds on until the count of 5 when he finally lets go. Punk rolls to the outside of the ring. Heyman is there and he's just coaching him on what he needs to do. Roman has enough of waiting. So he gets out of the ring from the other side and starts running and gaining momentum. He rushes in and Punk sees it last second. Punk saves himself by pulling Heyman into the way. Roman spears Heyman through the barricade. Heyman is knocked out. Roman takes a while to get to his feet. When he does, Punk grabs him and throws him headfirst into the steel post. Then he throws him back into the ring. Roman gets up. Punk lifts him and Punk lifts him up to hit him with a GTS. Cover. 1, 2, kick out. Punk can't believe it. This match has only been going on for like 5 minutes, but it feels like so much has happened. Punk knows what he has to do. He picks up Roman and puts him on the top turnbuckle. He gets him in position and is going for a Pepsi plunge. Roman, however, counters. He fights back. He gets Punk on his shoulders. He hits a Samoan drop from the top rope. He goes for the cover. 1, 2, kick out. Roman senses there's blood in the water. He goes to the corner. He's setting up for a spear. He goes for it, but he is attacked from out of nowhere by Carmelo Hayes. The bell rings as the match ends in a DQ. Melo hits Roman with the first 48, and Punk goes up from behind him and turns him around and starts yelling in his face. He says, "What the hell was that, huh? I had this in the bag. I told you to stay out of my business." Melo starts getting into Punk's face when Punk's eyes widen. Melo sees this. He gets out of the way. Roman hits Punk with a Superman punch. He turns around and he is hit with a first 48. Roman then sets up on the top rope and hits nothing but net onto Roman. He starts leaving as he's celebrating up the ramp when he sees Heyman being taken away on the stretcher. They look at each other, and Melo once again can be heard telling him, "In another life." He then turns around and heads to the back to get ready for his match for the night. So technically, Roman wins. He got attacked first.
Yes. It's also impressive that Roman hit a nothing but net on himself, but it's
Oh shit! Did I say Roman? I meant Melo.
you did.
Whatever.
I knew what you meant, but you did say Roman heads up top and it's nothing but net on Roman. I'm like, that's hilarious.
Oh damn! All right. Well,
Like the tribal chief is talented in many ways.
yes, he is.
Okay, following that just car crash of a match, we move on to Mercedes Moné versus AJ Lee for the Women's Championship in a no holds barred contest. The bell rings and both women immediately lock up in the middle of the ring. For position and with no rope break, neither woman is willing to give in. They trade positions back and forth until they eventually just drive themselves out of the ring into the floor. This causes them to break apart, but both get back to their feet quickly and just start trading blows. AJ Lee and knocks Mercedes to the ground and takes a moment to catch her breath. She then goes down to pick up Mercedes and gets hit in the gut with a kendo stick. Mercedes then gets up and starts swinging for the fences on the back of AJ Lee and drives her towards the announce table. AJ takes a moment to lean against the table and Mercedes swings down, but AJ is able to move out of the way and Mercedes just hits the table. She hits it so hard, in fact, it cracks the kendo stick and Mercedes just throws it to the side. She continues to chase AJ around the ring post, but just as she moves around the corner, AJ just drives her back into the post. The back of Mercedes' head smashes against the post, and AJ grabs Mercedes and throws her back into the ring. AJ then goes under the ring and grabs onto a chair and brings it in with her. Mercedes is leaning in the corner, holding her hands, comes in and nails her in the stomach with a chair. This bends Mercedes over out of the corner, and AJ just smashes the chair down onto her back. AJ then unleashes an unrelenting assault of chair shots to the back before releasing the chair and throwing it to the side. Mercedes over and covers her. 1, 2, kick out. AJ thinks for a moment and then rolls out of the ring and looks under the apron. She eventually finds a metal chain and twirls it for a second before heading back into the ring. Um, as AJ is getting up, Mercedes rushes in and rushes in with a drop kick, causing AJ to let go of the chain. Mercedes then starts to just stomp away at the midsection of AJ. She slowly drives AJ to the corner and stomps away at her before backing up and charging in with a Meteora. AJ is then rolled out of the corner and covered for a 2 count. AJ rolls over after kicking out, and Mercedes wastes no time and just locks in the bank statement. AJ fights through the pain, and Mercedes possibly gets too zealous, and AJ is able to roll them back into a pin that gets kicked out of at 2. Both women get back to their feet, and Mercedes goes for a clothesline, but AJ turns this into a Black Widow instead. Mercedes now struggles to stay on her feet and slowly stumbles her way towards the rope. Mercedes grabs onto the ropes, hoping to break the submission, but the referee says it won't. Mercedes then just decides to throw them both through the ropes and once again go crashing to the floor. Both women lay out on the floor, and AJ is the first to get to her feet. Mercedes manages to get up to her knees, but just as she gets there, AJ rushes in and hits her with a Shining Wizard. AJ then struggles to pick up the dead weight of Mercedes, but manages to and rolls her back into the ring. Once she does, she takes a second to catch her breath, then gets back in and waits for Mercedes to get back to her knees. Once she does, AJ rushes in for another Shining Wizard, but Mercedes is able to duck this and immediately gets up and hits a backstabber onto AJ. And Mercedes once again locks in the bank statement. AJ fights her way through this and gets to the ropes, and just like Mercedes, grabs onto the ropes, hoping to break the hold, but to no avail. AJ then looks for something and sees the chain next to her and grabs it. She tries to whip it back, but Mercedes just grabs onto the chain and now uses it across the mouth of AJ and pulls back. AJ refuses to tap out, and Mercedes then places her feet on the ropes and pushes back to get maximum torque on this hold. At this point, there's literal tears coming out of AJ's eyes from the amount of pain she is in, and eventually just has to tap out. Mercedes then releases the hold and gets up and is handed back the women's title as AJ lays on the mat just holding onto her back. So Mercedes is your new women's
We're
champion.
kind of fucked. We're 44 minutes in.
We've got this.
All right, I'm gonna shorten the fuck out of this one. Uh, it's not that long, anyways. Orton comes in, banged up as fuck. Entire body is taped up, arms and legs. Cole comes out, redragging Roddy at his side. Cole's dominating. Uh, Randy starts getting some moves in, but he starts grabbing at his shoulder after he hits some clotheslines because it hurts. Randy decides to put Cole in a headlock just to try to choke him out. It's the only thing he could probably do at this point without really hurting himself. Cole's in the middle of the ring trying to find a way out. He can't find one until he finally starts crawling to the ropes. It's a slow process. It looks like he won't even be able to make it. Roddy climbs onto the apron. Ref tells him to get off. Cole is so close to the ropes. Kyle and Fish drag him to the ropes. Uh, uh, and then the ref forces the thing to be broken up. Randy goes back on the attack. Cole fights him off. He gets to the apron. Randy charges him. He gets him in position. Whatever. Randy hits him. Now he's in a position for a draping DDT. He hits it. Randy starts calling for an RKO. That's when Roddy rushes in to the ring to stop him. Randy sees it coming. He gets up, hits Roddy with an RKO. Roddy rolls out. Kyle rushes in, and then he gets hit with an RKO. And then Bobby comes in. He's about to hit an RKO on him. Fish backs out the way. Randy doesn't fall. Bobby goes for a spinning heel kick. Randy ducks when Fish is looking back at Randy. He gets hit with an RKO. All members of the Undisputed Era are taken out. Now it's only Cole. Cole starts getting up. Randy goes for an RKO. Cole gets out of the way. He hits Randy with a super kick to the gut. Randy bends forward. Cole hits a Canadian Destroyer. 1, 2, 3. Here's your winner and still WWE champion Adam Cole. All right, you got this. Go. 14 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, we should have enough time. Alicia Taylor introduces the match rules, and the first two participants come out. And then the first two participants that come out are Carmelo Hayes and Swerve Strickland. The bell rings and both men rush one another. Swerve goes for the back elbow, but Mello ducks and goes for a quick roll up. Swerve kicks out quickly and gets up and tries to quickly nail a house call, but Mello once again ducks and goes for a Swerve kicks out again. Both men get to their feet and Swerve throws Mello to the ropes. Just as Mello hits the ropes, Swerve rushes in right up to him and knees him in the gut. Swerve then pulls Mello away and picks him up and nails a brainbuster. Swerve goes for the cut inches to kick out. Swerve from there just slowly works on Mello as he awaits the next entrant. The sound horns and Drew McIntyre comes down. As soon as he gets into the ring, he claymores Swerve and covers him for the 3. Drew then gets up and claymores Carmelo, but Mello falls out of the ring before Drew can get the pin. Swerve slowly gets to the penalty box as Drew heads outside to get Mello back into the ring. Drew picks Mello up, and instead of throwing him back in, he just drops Mello face first onto the apron. Drew then picks Mello back up and rolls him back into the ring. Before entering, Drew heads over to the penalty box and taunts Swerve. Back into the ring and doesn't have his eyes on Mello immediately, and once he turns towards him, he gets hit with the first 48. Mello covers Drew for the 3, earning himself a point. Drew has to enter the penalty box just as Swerve is supposed to be released. Swerve lets Drew in, but then gets a wicked smirk across his face and heads back into the penalty box and starts bashing Drew's head against the walls. Mello just enjoys this as he gets some time to fully recover. Whilst the brawling is happening in the penalty box, the sound horns again, and Kevin Owens makes his way down to the ring. Mello meets him in the ring, and they brawl. During this, Drew's time in the penalty box ends, and he just drives Swerve out of the door and into the ring steps. Drew then enters the ring and immediately has Kevin Owens thrown into him. Kevin quickly hits a stunner on Drew and covers him. Mello doesn't react quick enough, and Kevin Owens gets a fall, and Drew has to go back to the penalty box. Mello gets the fall and shares a brief stare down with Kevin before both get back to their feet and start brawling again. Mello goes to buy himself some time and throws Kevin over the top rope, but Kevin is able to hold on. He then goes to step through the ropes, but Mello realizes the opportunity and hits a springboard leg drop onto the back of Kevin Owens' head. Owens rolls into the ring, and just as Mello is about to cover Owens, Swerve comes in and house calls the back of Mello's head. Swerve covers Mello. 1, 2, 3. Mello heads to the penalty box and temporarily joins Drew. As Mello heads to the penalty box, participant comes down to the ring. Austin Theory gets up on the apron as Swerve is punching Owens and rolls into the ring and nails Swerve with a drop kick while also sentonning Kevin Owens. Theory tries to quickly cover Owens but gets pulled back by Swerve. Swerve goes for something, but Theory manages to duck and picks Swerve up and hits him with the ATL. During all this, Drew was released from the penalty box. So once Theory hits the move, once Theory hits the move, he turns and immediately eats a claymore from Drew. Drew goes for the cover, but Kevin Owens shoves Drew out of the ring and pins Theory himself, earning another point. Theory heads to the penalty box as Mello is released. Drew rushes back into the ring and starts brawling with Kevin Owens. Both men are hunched over, and Mello jumps off the top rope and hits both men with a nothing but net. Mello covers Owens for the three and goes to cover Drew, but Swerve is there to break that pin up. Owens joins Theory in the penalty box as we hit the 5 minutes remaining mark in the match. Swerve starts beating away at Mello, and the intensity in the match picks up as everyone is running out of time. Just like the start of the match, Mello and Swerve are going back and forth on reversals and attempting to steal pins on one another. Drew then makes his way back to the ring. Mello goes up top for a crossbody on Drew, but Drew just catches him and belly to bellies him across the ring. Drew then turns and Swerve rushes him, and Drew kicks him in the gut and Future Shock DDTs him. During this, Theory is released from the penalty box. Drew goes for the cover on Swerve. 1, 2. Theory just gets there in time to break up the pin. Kevin Owens is then released from the penalty box, but isn't rushing his way back into the ring, more trying to pick his spot. Theory then brawl back and forth for a bit as Swerve slowly rolls out of the ring. Theory goes for ataxia, but struggles to do it because of Drew's size. Drew slides out of the move and headbutts Theory. We have now entered the final minute of the match as we see Drew back up into the corner and start his countdown. Uh, Theory, as Theory gets up to his feet, Drew charges in for the Claymore when out of nowhere Mello comes flying through the air and nails Drew with nothing but net. Mello then quickly gets back to his feet and clotheslines Theory out of the ring. He then turns around and goes to quickly get into the pin when he gets speared by Roman Reigns. Roman stands over Mello as Owens crawls his way back into the ring and covers Drew for the 1, 2, 3. Kevin just looks up at Roman as time expires, as Kevin, earning that third fall at the final moment, beats Carmelo's 2, earning himself the victory in the Iron Survivor match.
What an
That
episode.
is Fastlane.
What a 52-minute episode. What's
Only the
gonna
opening
happen
match
next?
was just a little bit shorter.
That's perfect.